I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this. I think there's shame and stigma around being honest about this, but it is so common for new parents to, especially the first few weeks, be like, what did I just do? And you also grieve your old life. You know, I've never shared this publicly, and I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna put it out there. If people misunderstand me, who cares? Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to do this video because, to be honest, I don't have a specific script or outline or even topic to talk about. I really just want the Holy Spirit to lead whatever it is I'm supposed to share, because I just have been having so many thoughts, so many reflections, realizations, ideas for videos. I'm like literally sweating as I'm like talking because I have this little like unquenchable fire like constantly when I'm doing dishes, when I'm cooking, when I'm playing with my baby, when I'm changing her diaper, when I'm going out for errands. Like, I just keep thinking of all these things that I want to tell other first-time moms because it is so different hearing from another mom the realistic version of motherhood versus the glorified, the carousel post on Instagram of like, my heart is so big, I didn't imagine I could love someone this much. And it's all true, but it's like, that is just the tip of the tip of the iceberg. And I just have this passion. If you've been following along, and if you haven't, please consider subscribing, because I have just been nonstop feeling this urge to share the realistic ups and downs, reflections, challenges, regrets, mistakes, and there are a lot of those when it comes to being a first-time mom, and like all the things that no one told me, especially because I've mentioned this before, my husband and I, we don't have siblings, we did not grow up around babies, like everything's brand new. And so you hear these generalizations from other parents, like it's hard, or it's so hard but it's rewarding, and like all these generalizations, but like what do you actually mean? What are you talking about, right? What makes it so hard? What makes it so, I mean, I kind of get an idea, like when before I had a baby, I was like, I kind of can assume, you mean, of course it's hard to take care of a baby, but like, what are the nuances? What are the details? What are the things that looking back, I want to tell my past self? I wish that she knew. I wish that she had known, she had prepared differently, she had thought differently. I am 21, almost 21 weeks postpartum now with my first baby, 4.5 months, which is just wild to say out loud because baby time really is different from non-baby time. 4.5 months is almost half a year. It feels like a long time. But once you become a parent, I now understand why they say the days are long, but the years are short, because it just went by like that. I can still vividly remember giving birth, coming back from the hospital. Didn't she just get here? Why is she already 4.5 months? But at the same time, it's just been amazing also reflecting and talking to people about how much I've also changed. And I think every new mom can probably relate to this as well. You just don't know how much you're capable of until you become a mom. You're like, where did these multitasking superpowers come from? As someone who used to tell myself all the time, I can't multitask. I'm so bad at multitasking. And now I'm just like juggling so many different things all at once because it forces you to be that way. I think everyone's different, right? Like depending on your experience in the newborn phase and postpartum. But I just feel like by God's grace, because I had such a hard first time mom experience postpartum, and you can watch my videos all about that, it just really broke me and really humbled me and broke off things in me, like spiritually, emotionally, mentally, like relationally, that I didn't even know I had. Like it was almost like I was this multi-layered onion, and I didn't know that I had so many layers still like preventing me from being not like my true self, but just like I had more in me than I realized. I'll just share a practical example. So I feel more sensitive to people's pain and suffering now. Yesterday I had a friend text me. She was like going through a hard time. Her and her husband, something came up in her personal life, and she texted me asking if I could pray for them. Pre-baby me would have been like, oh yeah, of course I'll pray for you, and just maybe text a prayer or say I'm praying for you, or maybe ask, oh, do you want to hop on a call like later this week sometime, that I would care, but I wouldn't be. Versus now, like what I basically did was I just called her right away. I was like, I don't even care what she's doing right now. I'm gonna call her, see if she's picks up. If she doesn't, that's cool, like no worries, but I want to be there for her. And I think part of that, a lot of that actually, is because I went through such a hard time my postpartum. And when people were there for me, when people showed up for me, even in small ways, even just checking in on me, asking me how I'm really doing, coming by and just being here physically, not even needing to do anything, but just be here. I mean, that spoke volumes and it made a world of a difference. And I think just when you go through something so hard and humbling and you realize how much you need people, at least for me personally, now I feel so compelled to help other moms and women, but just people in general who are going through a hard time, because I'm like, it matters. It makes a difference when people reach out versus when they don't, because it's so isolating. When I went through my postpartum depression and my newborn trenches, my reflux, like trauma, like all of that in the first few months after giving birth, I remember this constant tension that I held was like, no one owes me anything, and of course I can't expect people to know and understand what I'm going through. Yet at the same time, I am so like drowning in my fog and my emotions that I don't even know how to properly articulate this and like ask for help in a proper way. Like I'm trying my best, but I don't really know how. And now looking back, it's obvious to me, like, oh yeah, people, like most people would not, unless they are also like a new mom, you know, pretty fresh, can vividly remember what it was like. A lot of people just don't understand unless you tell them what's actually going on. So all that to say is, I remember this tension, feeling like I feel so isolated, not neglected, but just like I wish people would come and help me, because I just don't know what to say or how to ask for help. But you just feel helpless a lot of times. And, you know, again, thank God there were moms in my life who reached out, who checked in, who were praying for me. Most of these were like pretty, like moms of young kids or babies themselves. So it's still fresh in their minds. And, you know, now that I'm almost, you know, 5 months, 4.5 months in, I can definitely see why the more far you've removed you get, it's hard to remember what made it hard, how hard it is, because you just have all these like rewarding moments with your children now, which is great, right? But it's like your brain literally blocks it out. So it almost, in a way, it's protecting us so that we procreate more and produce more children. But the disservice it does is it removes that empathy. It removes the ability to empathize as much and as closely, because you just don't remember how hard it is. And also because everyone's experience is different based on different factors. You know, one mom might be going through such a hard newborn trenches like you can't even imagine, versus maybe you didn't have those contributing factors that made it so hard. So you just assume that, oh, they're doing okay, and like it's hard definitely, but like they're gonna be fine. It's so hard to like encapsulate and describe. I've just evolved so much, I've transformed so much, and I'm so grateful for how I feel like I'm like I was a caterpillar that never even knew I could become a butterfly. That's how I really feel. Like, it's like I was a caterpillar, went through a very hard cocoon stage that was uncomfortable and dark and grimy and moldy and messy, and like the light was totally shut out, and I was like, am I gonna die? Like, is this the end? And now I've emerged into this like blooming, I really feel like I'm in this like amazing blossoming era of motherhood that I never knew existed and was possible, and people just don't describe that enough. So I'm just trying to give you a glimpse into what that means. Like, that's just, again, one facet of it, is how I've just been more attuned to people's pain and sensitivity. I really want to help people, genuinely help people, instead of, I think in the past, a lot of times I would feel honestly torn, because I'm like, I want to be a good person, I want to be a good friend, and that's why I want to help this person, kind of almost semi out of subconscious obligation. Even though I tried over the years, I've grown a lot in this, of like not being by default autopilot people pleaser. But yeah, it's been interesting just seeing how far I've come now, like because of everything I've gone through, because of how motherhood is transforming me, because I am my genuine full self with my baby, and playing with her, you know, making silly noises and funny faces and doing baby talk, which I was very uncomfortable with when I first had a baby. Basically, it's made me so much more authentic, realizing oh, I didn't even realize I had these barriers I was holding on to before, just like the onion analogy I was talking about. Also, because you have so little energy and time, you don't want to waste energy and time trying to be a version of yourself you're not, trying to please people or do things that are not really important. I feel like my priorities are so much more clear and what I really want to focus on, what I can let go, like the messiness, like things that are done halfway and I can just leave it to the side being like, it's okay, I'll get to that later because this is more important, versus before having a baby, it's like, no, I want to get everything done. And messiness is quite literally, but also figuratively, something that you are forced to learn to embrace in life in general and in yourself. And I think that's also what has helped me become more authentic and just comfortable with being messy, with being imperfect, with putting out these videos, being like, I'm gonna say a lot of ums, I'm gonna say a lot of likes, I'm gonna say a lot of filler words, and my hair is messy, you know. I mean, my hair looks okay today because I just took a bath. I took a bath, by the way. That is like the first bath I've taken since giving birth, so big win there. And it was during one of her naps, which I was like, thank God. But I also had I heard phantom cries when I was in the bath. Kept checking the monitor. But yeah, anyway, I kind of just wanted to share this update because again, I'm doing this for other people, for other moms, to share my real life experience, but I'm also, honestly, I'm doing this for me. I want to look back one day because I know I'm like so confident now that I will look back in the future on these videos and be like, wow, she had no idea how much more was coming for her because I've already experienced that, compared to 3 months, 4 months ago when I was like, what just happened? What did I get myself into becoming a mom? Because I had so many emotions. It was a roller coaster. I questioned a lot. I think not enough people talk about how, I think there's shame and stigma around being honest about this, but it is so common for new parents to, especially the first few weeks, be like, what did I just do? Did I make a huge mistake? Because everything is such a shock to your system, and then you also grieve your old life. You know, I've never shared this publicly because again, it was just like I was caught in this like, oh, how do I phrase this right so people don't get it wrong, don't misunderstand me. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna put it out there. If people misunderstand me, who cares? I'm just putting this out there because I want to document and remember. Like before I gave birth, I remember the last few months of my third trimester, I struggled with so many different emotions of, I'm excited, you know, anticipating because I hear such great things about being a parent and a mom, and it is a dream. I've always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted to have children to pour into and to raise up, you know, following God and loving God and being able to have our little tribe. And you know, just I've always wanted to be a mom. At the same time, it's scary, it's a big deal, and so I was nervous, I was anxious, I was like, am I prepared? I don't really know what to expect, I don't really know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna roll with it. And at the same time, I also had grief, and I still haven't done like an Instagram post about, I was like telling myself near the end of my pregnancy, I'm like, maybe I'll do a post about this, but you know, just with everything going on, I never got to it. But I guess might as well. I'm already here just rambling all my thoughts. But I just remember feeling grief of grieving my pre-baby life because I just knew this time right now is so special to have just me and my husband without any kids, without people without having our lives turned upside down. And like, I just knew it's totally gonna alter our lives, but I didn't actually even know the degree to which that would be true. But you know, I just heard from all these parents, and I've seen enough to know like it's gonna change our lives. And I have heard, I mean, my mom was so intentional in raising me. She was a stay-at-home mom as well, and she always talked about, I mean, I could just tell she poured everything into raising me and had to sacrifice a lot. And parents, I mean, that is the essence of parenting, is selflessness and dying to yourself to be there to raise and nurture your children and take care of them and their needs. There's many needs as they continue to grow too. And so I loved our lives, and at the same time I knew there was a lot to look forward to, but there's just something so special in that season, you know, and it was the summer, you know, it was such a blessing. I still miss it sometimes. But it's definitely not the same as how I felt initially when I first had a baby, of like, oh my gosh, I I don't know. I'm like doubting because it's just such a shock. Overnight, you become a mom, and overnight, everything's upside down. I'm not sleeping. I'm not taking care of myself. Like, I can't think straight. And so you just inevitably question, like, what did I just do? And yet you still, at that point, you don't know your baby very well. You haven't really bonded. Like, it's different for everyone. But for me, I didn't really bond with my baby right away because I was just so delusional and out of, or not delirious and out of it and disconnected. And I think it's normal. I just want to normalize it because I'm sharing this to normalize. If you are grieving your old life, if you're a brand new parent and you're grieving your old life and you feel bad about saying that out loud, almost every new parent goes through those emotions. It's just hard to talk about because you don't want people to think you're ungrateful or whatever. And you especially, I am sensitive around, people who have been trying to conceive for a while too, and may not understand that emotion, and it could be, people could just take it the wrong way. But I think with any transition, I just reflect on so many transitions in my life. Before I got married, before I moved back to the States from Australia, when I graduated college, that was a big one. I remember going through this like mild depression, but I was just really grieving. I think looking back, my senior year, I felt really sad because I loved college. I loved my friends. I knew it was a special time. Again, there was so much uncertainty and things to be excited for that I knew it was just the beginning. Like, I knew there were going to be better things to come, but at the same time, it's like when you're grateful for what you have too, it's hard to say goodbye to those things and those people and that stage of life when you just want to like freeze time and like put it in a bottle and keep it. What I'm realizing more and more is kind of the essence of parenthood too, and this is why I always see on Instagram like parent moms especially being like, oh my gosh, like I'm a mess, I'm emotional because my child is starting preschool or kindergarten, or they just outgrew their size whatever clothes. And it's like when you're not a parent, you don't really know why that would happen. And I'm still not quite there yet because my baby's so young, but I'm starting to get glimpses of that feeling of like, oh my gosh, time is passing so fast, and I just wish I could like grasp this moment and keep it, but time just like slips through your hands. It's like sand, and you just can't keep it. You can't, like, things will change and inevitably grow. And I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this. Is like, it's learning to grieve the things that you love in the present and normalize that as part of the journey of parenthood and finding beauty in that as well. A lot of the times we think of grief and sadness as like bad things when actually it is a normal part of life. And I think the more we can be in tune with that and let ourselves feel those emotions and be connected to our own grief and our the simultaneous mix of all the emotions, as a parent especially. Like, I'm so excited for my child to be developing all these new skills and milestones, but at the same time, I'm going to miss them at this stage, and they're growing so quickly every day. At any stage in life, it's so easy to be like, oh, I don't want things to change. I want things to remain the same and stay like this forever. But the nature of life is it's changing. It's always growing and changing and evolving, and it's really up to us to either we resist the changes and we fight against it and we're like, oh, I miss it when it was better, and back when things were better in my old life. You can get stuck in that. But it's another thing which I think I've been trying to just like practice and like exercise myself is, yeah, I do miss those days. They were good days. Like my past pre-baby life, when Emmy, my baby, when she was a newborn, like there's beauty that I miss from those days. When my husband and I could just like go out without worrying about our baby, when life was so much simpler, when we could sleep whenever we want, when we could wake up whenever we want, and so many things. At the same time, knowing that, wow, I am so grateful for what we have and also what's to come. There's so much to look forward to. And so that's just like the spectrum of life and all of its ups and downs and messiness of emotions. And honestly, I just think being a mom now, it makes me more in touch with the fullness of my humanity and the broad variety, the spectrum of all of these simultaneous emotions all together. I hope this video makes sense. I feel like I just rambled because I just have so many thoughts, and I'm just like, you know, I want to document this. I want to share it with people. If you watched all the way, I'm so grateful for you. Please let me know in the comments, like anything that you might have resonated with. I just really love connecting with people who have been commenting on my videos, because I really feel like we need to be talking about these things. We need to be dialoguing about the reality of how we're feeling, you know, all the ups and downs, all the nuances that I can't be captured as well, nearly as well, on like an Instagram post or just even like a short conversation with someone. And so I hope that this was almost like a little heart-to-heart sit-down conversation of what's been going on in my head. I mean, there's so much more, but I don't want to make this video like 2 hours long. So yeah, if you're interested in stuff like this, I usually am more focused on specific topics, and I want to make more videos, oh, so many more videos on, you know, how becoming a mom has changed our marriage dynamic, my spiritual life, my relationship with God, my relationship with myself, my social life, my relationship with friends, my that's my cue, I gotta go. Unmedicated birth, hospital bag stuff, all the things, but like the reality version of it. Like and subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys later.